Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Concept Brooks. On this episode, I talk about perspective of time. That is that some how some things seem like it take forever, and then something feel like it's gone an instant. And it's one of those things where you know doing the 9 to 5 working the 8 hours of the day, and then doing something like gym. Gym, I'm just doing like 60 minutes or maybe uh, or more 70 minutes, depending. And what happens is that certain days you happen that when you may start certain days. So like the 9 to 5, the 8 hours, no matter how it's so far, no matter how low the workload would be, it doesn't feel short unless, for example, when I just started when they had something like voluntary time off where basically I could come off early. That the fact that I could come off early actually made me set up an expectation maybe that kind of set up my expectation of when I actually did the full 8 hours to wonder how wise was long. And then what happened was doing night shift and morning shift. What happened was that it made me appreciate the morning shift more when going through the rigorous time of the night shift, because what happened was that in the day shift when I just started, you have the ability to sometimes actually come off early compared to the night shift where you don't have that ability. You have to stay the course, and sometimes you're not doing any work and you're just there and stuff. So it's like perspective of time. That's it's something that you're gonna go through various things in life. There's a lot of things that you're going to feel like it's taking forever, but you have to actually stay the course to get what you need from it. And there's some things you're going to want and just go on an instant. And then you go on an instant, be like, oh, what you want to do is just basically try to extend that feeling. Like for example, eating ice cream. So it's good when you have that for dessert. But if you eat too much for dessert, then you become obese, and then it can and the sugar can kind of cause health damage to your health. And so what happens is that when you get it, sometimes it just and then it finish, you feel like oh, and then next time you get it, especially if you're living on a budget or stuff, and then that is not an important thing to invest in. With the weird time you treat yourself, then between the next time kind of seem like forever, and such, and because it seemed like forever, it would make you want to do short term decision that will prevent long term benefits. And I've done that a lot during this journey. So it's not something that you're not going to do. You know, it's just that sometimes the urge just come in and say, okay, I'm gonna see the risk in the short term now and stuff. And sometimes it does reward itself. So it depends. So what happens is that what you want to do is one of the things when you actually come out of poverty, one of the things is time to extend the ability to actually be able to actually enjoy those good time. Like for example, enjoying ice cream. What you can do is when you reach a point and you have a certain fridge, you can instead of buying from the ice cream, buying a cone from the ice cream store, you can buy a box and then carry it home. And then you maybe have your buy sprinklers and all those stuff as well. You can have that at your home. But what happens is that when you have it at your home, if you do too much, you'll get your health as well. You may be bad for your health if you actually just eat it all day. That's how think that about obesity and all those stuff comes about. The convenience, getting it quick, and then increasing convenience, and then not actually infusing the good habit. That's what causes the negative lifestyle. So one of the things you have to balance is that when you unlock the ability to actually get access to those certain things quickly, you know that another part of your life is going to be extended where you have to do more workout to keep your health. And then when you're doing the workout, those depending on how much calories, then for example you're doing 1 hour gym. Depending on what you're doing that 1 hour, that 1 hour could seem like forever because you're doing so if you're doing like for example I'm doing the treadmill now and sometimes I do bicycle. Boom, those 60 minutes feel like forever. But what but maybe when you extend the time and maybe do different stuff, you may what happens that if you do it for a certain amount of time, then those 60 minutes actually feel shorter because what happens is that you just do the same thing consistently, your body gets stronger and can tolerate the 60 minutes of running, and then boom, it doesn't feel like it. And then what happens if you're at gym that with internet or stuff like that, you have entertainment, so you're passing the time. You're passing the time. So it's like, oh, that's so the perspective of time is something perspective of time as you go through life. That's going to be something. What else you're gonna feel when the perspective of time? School. Wow, when you're going to school, you cherish the time when you get to talk with your friends. But when the teacher says, "Boom, focus on the work," perspective of time slows down because they have to focus on the work, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't like the work. I don't like the work doing the work." That's not fun to you. Talking to your friends is more fun. So the perspective of time changes when you're talking to your friend or so, but you're in the same setting, it's still in the same school settings. And what happens is that those can actually extend your what also is depending on the subject. If your subject you don't like, the time feels like forever. The time feels like forever because you don't like that subject. But when it's a subject that you like, the time may not go, but you feel more interested and more invested in that subject. So you appreciate those times that you have with it and be like, oh my God, yes, it's so fun and stuff like that. So I said, perspective of time is something that you're going to face, and and what I always try to work towards is the extended time of the extended good times, and then try to minimize on the bad times. And then if I do that enough through my lifetime, then boom, I could actually increase the good times for a lot of more people and lessen the bad time. So that's all. So that's all you have to think about life. Sometimes you do things selfishly, but when you actually get it done, it helps another person, and then boom, they can, and that's how you do it. That's how you do it. You just focus on yourself, and then boom, you can help someone. You can um the saying goes, you can't help someone if you can't help it. First help yourself. If you're basically out here in a bad position, and then okay, so you're trying to give, like, you can't be single and give your relationship advice. And even if you're in a relationship, I don't think you can give relationship advice. But what happens that you can't be in a bad position and you try to get someone to be in a good position. But you try to get in that good position now, and then they see from example, and they can and be like, okay, yeah, I want to be in a good position too. And then they learn from your mistakes, and so they reach in a good position faster. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it and stuff. So as a perspective of time, what else is another perspective of time? When you go into school and you learn about the great the greats, like for example, Albert Einstein and what he contributed. Albert Einstein is has been gone for so long. But what happens is that his teaching still lives on. His teaching still live on. And then what happened also is that they found easier way to explain the terms that he was, and then because they explained it easier, there are more ways to apply it, what they have taught from those long time in the real world. So that's something as well. You may out here trying to figure out how to do something and may take you forever, but boom, once you get it done and figure out how to do it, you're doing it so quickly and stuff like that. But what happens at that time is like um the exponential growth curve. You start out at a slow pace and then boom, one time you just start boom and start grow that the exponential growth. That's how exponential growth goes time. And when you're starting out, it feels like forever. It feels like forever. But once you get that core concept down, boom, you're doing it astronomical and be like, oh my god, you didn't, I never realized. Mhm. Same thing as well, like for example, this podcast. Some little kid now growing up can't even read, can't even understand words and stuff like that. This podcast will make sense to them. But as they get to understand words better, they could understand a few words. Even if you speak a different language, you speak a different language. English is not your first language, or even English, you not understand my words. Eventually, you're gonna caught on to my saying, and then boom, when you do that now, then you unlock the new level of this podcast for you. You'll be like, oh my gosh, you know, you're unlocking powers out here. That's the thing. Perspective of times are really is a real thing, and time is one of the most valuable thing is more valuable than money. So if you understand, and you, what happens is that what you trying to explain that as you get higher, your perspective of time changes, and you want to be ahead. You need to be aware of those changes. When you're aware of those changes, you can make moves. Can make moves that put you farther ahead quicker just by, and it's not you making quick moves, it's you just taking the time. you know if you take the time, like for example, you take time 8 hours to learn a concept that you do, and you understand the concept to where you can apply it for 10 years. You don't need to go back through it. Those 8 hours brought you a 10-year return on investment compared to you take learn it quick and then have to go back and reference it every single time. You know, that's the perspective of time as well. Time investment. Take time to learn a concept, boom, and then when you learn it well, I basically apply it a lot. Boom. Like I said, this is just a nice episode to basically just get your mind thinking about how you can basically increase your perspective of time to basically make your time more efficient, make do more time management to learn how to do things better and faster, and then boom, that can basically positively affect your life in a positive direction. Thank you for listening. I look forward for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
Week 42 of the 95 experience, or week 5 in this new department. Mhm. And again, I passed the next test and barely again. But, I think passing these tests could be the way, even though it seems that I wasn't going to pass and then pass. Yeah, I think it's down to do with two things: luck and and the fact that those years of doing studying for tests in school actually paid off. Like legit, all those years of practicing to doing tests, it subconsciously paid off. No, so I think it's just those two reasons. It was kind of just, I would say, luck, and also the fact